Now, a guy who I think will actually end up at Kentucky in the future is James Wiseman, but it may not be as quick as I had hoped. The big man from Memphis is supposed to be part of the 2019 class, but there had been some talk that he might actually end up part of the 2018 class and reclassified. But yesterday he was in Kentucky for a game in Marshall County, and he said that would not be the case and that he would actually end up in the 2019 class and not reclassify. I actually think that's kind of bad news, Drew, for Kentucky, because if that's true, and I still think it could change, if that's true, it means Kentucky may have to go somewhere else for their big man.
Yeah, but having followed recruiting since Cal's been here, a lot of recruits say things, and it turns out to be the complete opposite when they make their decision. A lot of times they'll deny this, I'm reclassifying, just to keep other teams from coming and looking at them. They just want to keep it under the radar. So I'm hoping it's more. He's planning to, but he's not ready to make that news yet.
This kid is a great big man. I mean, I wouldn't put him quite in the Anthony Davis, Marvin Bagley, but I think he's in the notch right below that of big men who could come in and immediately make a difference. Now, if Nick Richards and Sasha Kalea-Jones both come back, you probably don't need him. But if one of them were to go to the pros, you might need this guy.
And a month ago, I would have said there's no chance either one of them going to the pros. Nick Richards, the last couple of games, you could be watching out for him. But to have Wiseman come in, you might get him for 2 years. Number one player in a lot of the rankings, that's the guy you're going to want to get.
That's right. Now, for our next topic, we're in a different place, Drew. We're in Alberta, Virginia.
The law school did not just disappear.
Law school
we
disappeared.
moved.
The reason we pulled over on the side of the road is there's an update on a story that we did earlier. Jeff Hoover, the Speaker of the House, has come out and denied the allegations in a lawsuit that was filed this morning. The whistleblower who originally let everyone know about the 4 legislators who had settled sexual harassment suits with a subordinate filed a lawsuit this morning saying she's been discriminated against since initially coming out with that report. But in that lawsuit, she also said that Jeff Hoover had a sexual relationship with his subordinate and that the sexual harassment settlement was funded by campaign donors. Now, Jeff Hoover came out this afternoon and he denies all of it. And he expressed disappointment that Governor Matt Bevin this weekend again called for people to resign, he says, without knowing the whole truth. Now, it's complicated, but the allegations are explosive, which is that maybe funds from donors were used to pay the settlement and a sexual relationship occurred. He says didn't happen. What do you think?
When I first read it this morning, and it's unfair to Hoover that I thought this, but I thought immediate resignation. I just read her story, took that as the truth, and that's why we're pulled over here. That's not fair because he comes out and says never has any of this happened.
Would you say that he has not denied that there were text messages? Do you think that's enough to resign?
That's a tough one. I lean no because they were a little flirty, definitely out of bounds, shouldn't have been doing it. But a resignation, I don't know about that.
What's fascinating about this is the governor is telling 4 members of his own party to resign, and they're telling him basically to shove it. I mean, It is fascinating. This story will continue to develop. Tomorrow, Drew will have more of it in his solo performance, but we wanted to pull over and give you the latest. We're going to take a break. When we come back, last night, Drew and I went around the Duke campus. We met students, and I wanted to show him what was this place like. We came up with quite a few interesting interviews, and we'll show that when we return here on Hey Kentucky.